a list of websites where you can find inspiration for your residential projects. You could save some photos into a folder on your desktop and name it inspiration. So then when you go to source your furniture, fixtures, materials, finishes, you'll have images to take inspiration from. And then the following slides, I have taken the images from these websites. This is in Keystone, Colorado from VRBO. So I just have inspiration photos on all of these slides, and then I'm going to go through the technical descriptions. So that way, if you look at a photo of a design and you're like, oh, I really like that, but you don't know what it is or why you like it, I'm going to go through what these things are called. So then when you are shopping from vendors and sourcing your materials, you know the technical names and descriptions of what you're looking for. So on my screen here, this it looks like brick, this here on the ground, and then also this looks like stone on the wall, but these are all called outdoor pavers. So any type of like stone, brick, tile material that goes outside, it's called a paver. This right here is shotcrete. That's the type of concrete that swimming pools are made out of. And then this is just painted to match. And then this waterfall element is for water efficiency. So this is actually when you have these type of waterfall elements, the reason it's there is so that you just fill up this pool or hot tub one time, and then it goes around, recycles that same water, filters it and cleans it, and then it comes back out the waterfall. So you don't have to constantly fill up the pool or the hot tub every season. You just fill it up one time. In this photo, we're talking about the wood floor right here. This is a 2-inch solid hardwood. Actually, it might be a 3/4 inch, but I put 2-inch. I'd have to measure it to really know, but it's less, 2 inches or less on solid hardwood because it has these tiny little wood planks where engineered hardwood, the smallest would be probably a 4-inch or a 5-inch wood plank. So if you're looking for those tiny, really thin, narrow wood planks, you have to use solid hardwood. The difference between solid hardwood and engineered hardwood is in the inside of the wood. They are both real wood. They both come off of a tree. It's not an LVP or anything. And it has to do with your climate and your location, which one you use. I most often use engineered hardwood because of the humidity. The humidity in Colorado. If you use solid hardwood, you'll get seasonal gapping, which means that those planks will expand and contract and separate from winter to summer. It is possible to do solid hardwood anywhere though. So if you need these tiny narrow planks to complete your design, you can get a solid hardwood. In this photo, this is an example of industrial style design. So vendors or clients, when you're coming up with your concept, might ask you like what design style you're going for, or they'll want you to define the type of design. And I'm going to go over those terms a little bit as well. This one is industrial. So industrial design means that the structural elements are still visible in the interior. This has the exposed brick, exposed cinder block down here on the wainscoting, exposed wood beam ceiling, exposed HVAC. So that's what those are called when you can see those materials. And even if you don't already have a brick wall, you can apply a brick wall there as a finish to make it look like it's the exposed brick from the outside, even if it's not. That would be a textured wall covering, and the vendor for those bricks is called General Shale. The floor on this is polished concrete. And then you could also do raw unfinished concrete. That's where the concrete is just sealed, but it's not polished. So any of these elements could be added if you wanted the industrial look and feel, but you just didn't have that in your building. If you only had, drywall, you can add an exposed wood beam ceiling. You can add this in as a fixture. In a lot of residential design, they will use styrofoam and they will put a wood covering over it and then attach fake beams to the ceiling. Okay, technical descriptions for this photo. Right here behind the vanity, behind the mirror, we have book matched large format tile. And then on this countertop, this attached right here is a 3-inch, that's a standard size, 3-inch attached backsplash to the countertop. This is a solid quartz countertop with a 3-inch attached backsplash. So when you order your countertop from your stone vendor, you can decide if you want the attached backsplash or not. All of the hardware has gold finishes, so you can see they matched. They used the Schluter metal that we always use for our showers to get this center drain, match it with the finishes in the shower. All of the poles, the lights, it's gold on all the finishes. They have stone slabs, the same countertop here on the shower curb and the shower bench. When you are putting in a shower bench and a curb, you can't have a grout line going through those. It's like a hazard. People would fall or things would fall over. So you have to get solid stone. You can't get tiles like this for the top of your bench and the shower curbs. When you order this countertop from your vendor, you need to ask them to also cut to size these pieces, and then you will give those pieces to your shower installer. Right here on the left side of the wall, we have subway tiles, brick set, and then on the floor, you can tell that these are a third offset laid tiles, and how you can tell is where the grout lines match up. So every 1, 2, 3 third tile, they match up. So that's the third offset porcelain floor tile. And when you are making your work order for your installer, you'll need to put all of those descriptions. So you would need to tell them if it's a third offset brick set or half offset. With wood planks, you would do stagger the end joints as the install pattern. And in the fundamentals or construction docs, I can't remember, but in those 2 classes, there is a worksheet that has all of the install patterns and their names on it. All right, on the wall here for the backsplash, which they did floor to ceiling. I prefer floor to ceiling, but 18-inch is the standard. So to save money, your client might want to go with the 18-inch, but if you don't have a tight budget, it's better to do the entire wall. These are 8-inch hexagon patterned wall tiles with a 1 millimeter grout line. And there are 3 sizes on grout lines, 1, 2, and 3 millimeter. A lot of clients don't know or care what that means, so I would just go with 2 as a standard. But when you are doing a patterned wall tile like this one, I prefer the smallest possible grout line, so it looks like it's more cohesive and connected. And then you can actually see the grout line here on the floor, because this is a 3 millimeter. This is the largest grout line, so you can kind of see more of the metallic grout through the polished floor tile. Open shelving here. When you have cabinets on the wall, like they have right here on the left side, those are called wall cabinets or upper cabinets, and they're 15 inches in depth every time. You could replace those with open shelving in certain areas. So open shelving is for things that are not used all the time, which would be like, matching plate sets, maybe coffee mugs, wine glasses, stuff like that goes on the open shelving. You would not want to put open shelving in for a client who would put, snacks and pantry items and stuff out on the open shelving, because that's not the ideal design for that client. So open shelving works really well for more of like a minimalist client, and then also rental homes, vacation homes, stuff like that. Definitely an office design. I see it a lot. On the floor, we have large format porcelain floor tile. Large format means anything that's 24 by 24 or bigger. So 24 by 24 is the smallest large format. Another exposed wood beam ceiling, and then these are the recessed can lights. So when you're putting recessed can lights on your Revit plan, this is what we're talking about. And then this is an example of a symmetrical layout where they did it on Revit, and you can tell that they copy and pasted it on every other wood beam, and then did the same going horizontally on the wood beams that don't have the vertical one. Built-in microwave in the island. So if you have a microwave in your design, it should always have a home. It should be built in somewhere, or have its own cabinet where it's hidden, or have a front on it, but it shouldn't be ever just sitting on the countertop. And a lot of people don't like microwaves, so you might not have a microwave in your design. That's your client's preference. So you need to ask your client, do you have a microwave or not? And then you'll have to find a home for it. Right here behind the TV, we have LVP on a wall application. So LVP can go floors, ceilings, walls, islands. It's mostly seen on floors, but you can use it anywhere. This is an example of LVP on the wall. This one behind the TV, and then also this one is an LVP. Same way that they put the microwave in the island, you can put anything in the island. You could think about adding extra sinks to your designs. I usually do 2 sinks. So this sink right here in front of the window, that's a double basin sink, like your standard dishes sink. And then I will put a 1 basin, or a bar sink is what they're often called, in the island. And the idea is that this would be like your dirty sink for like dishes and stuff like that. And then that 1 basin would be like your clean sink, like for cleaning produce or making drinks. You could also put the oven and the range top on the island with a range hood in the middle. Let me just pull up a Google image of what that looks like. This is an example of a floating range hood with the cooktop in the island. And then they also have the sink in the island. And then they have double ovens here. So you can add as much or as little as you want to the island, and it's different for every design. You would need to make a circulation plan and probably a couple of block plans, bubble diagrams, or Revit plans to decide what's going to go on the island and what's going to go on the perimeter. And you can also change materials. Like, you don't have to do the same stone for the perimeter and the island unless you want to, and that's what works for your design. But you can do one type of stone for the island and a different one for the countertop perimeter, or you could do like butcher block or concrete or stainless on one of them and then do stone on another one. All right, technical descriptions for this kitchen. This is a waterfall countertop. So when the stone goes over the side like that, it's called a waterfall countertop. It's better for cleanability. These are straight stack ledge stone. You'll see that a lot on fireplaces or as a whole wall application in commercial. This is a herringbone backsplash. There's multiple ways to do herringbone. You can either order subway tiles and have them cut and installed into that pattern, or you could buy like a mosaic sheet, a 12 by 12 sheet that has the herringbone pattern, or 12 by 24 tiles that has a printed herringbone pattern on the top. We went over industrial already. Another style of design is Santa Fe, or sometimes they'll call it Spanish, and that is known for these arches. So when you see these arches throughout a design, that's a Santa Fe design. And you can see it's carried out through the interior. Yeah, they do still have some regular arches or some regular doorways that aren't arched like that, but they carried the arches throughout. Another sign of Santa Fe is they mix different wood colors. So you have light and dark wood, and they'll mix finishes. So you don't have all of the same finish in wood throughout. And then this wood floor right here is 4-inch with planks, engineered hardwood. And when it has all of these markations and knots and all of that like natural scratching almost is what I want to call it, like that bandsaw cut, that is called character. So they'll call it hardwood with character. And that is best when you're doing a design for a client who wants real hardwood in their home, but they are afraid of the scratches, because it's definitely going to scratch because natural hardwood does scratch on the floor. But when you have a lot of character like this, the vendor also will sell hardwood paint pens that match this specific wood that you're ordering. So if you do get a scratch or something, you can fill it in with this hardwood paint pen, and it looks like it was just part of the natural character from the start, like it was always there. And then also hardwood is the only type of flooring that can add value to a home if they were going to resell. LVP doesn't add value, but it doesn't take away value. Carpet would be the least. So it would be carpet at the very bottom. That would probably take away value if the whole home was carpeted. Carpet should only be stairs, closets, bedrooms, and basements if they want carpet. LVP would be the next one. LVP is just kind of the middle ground. Doesn't add anything, but it definitely doesn't take anything away. It would be better than carpet. And then hardwood will actually add value. So a home will sell for more if it has natural hardwood. In this one, we have an example of floating open shelving for the upper cabinets. It's suspended from the ceiling. We have a quartz composite sink right here. Brick set monochrome wall tile. So these match up every other, so you can tell that these are brick set. And then monochrome means that they matched the grout color the exact same as the tile color. So no contrasting grout in this one, it's a monochrome. These floor to ceiling windows are called curtain walls. Curtain walls can be, like this one is structural, these don't open. This is a real wall, but it's just transparent. Or they also make curtain walls that will slide open, so it'll be like an indoor outdoor. And then on the floor we have 24 by 24 porcelain tiles. And then this is an inlaid terrazzo. Terrazzo means that it has like those speckles in it. And then inlaid means that they installed it at the same time as they were putting all of the rest of this floor in, and they cut it to fit. So this is all one flooring. There's no ledge or visible mark or anything between the two of those. I'm also going to go over some materials, where they can be used, how they can be used. So you could start to look for those and order them for your residential projects. Concrete can be used on the floor. Right here, we've got an example of concrete on the floor. This is a polished concrete. Then we've got concrete on the countertop right here and also in the sink. So we've got a bar top made out of concrete, and then you can also do a floating like sink countertop with concrete. Concrete on the walls right here, you can add, if the walls are not already concrete and you want them to be, there's multiple ways to accomplish it. You can get a concrete look by doing a Venetian style paint. You can do a patterned wall covering with a concrete pattern. You can do a textured wall covering. You can get large format concrete. You can get it sprayed on the wall. There's a lot of ways to do it, but you can put it on the wall if it's not there. Same with the ceiling. This does not look like it was here before. This looks like it was installed after the build to keep the industrial feel. So if it's not there, you can add it to make it look like it was structural. Okay, marble. So true, real marble is mostly only used internationally because it's local to them. It's not local to the United States. So we mostly would use it in luxury applications because it has to be ordered and flown in from Europe or Italy or wherever it's coming from. And also, marble is a natural stone, so it's going to scratch and stain pretty much immediately. Marble is very, very soft. Even if it's sealed, it's still not going to be very durable. Internationally, they don't care about that because it's local to them, so it's just like a common used material for them. So you'll see scratched up and stained marble everywhere, kind of the same way that in the United States you'll see scratched up and stained concrete everywhere. So most of the time, even when you're dealing with luxury, if your client does not specifically tell you that they want to order real, true marble and have it flown in from Italy, they're not talking about marble. They're referring to this look, the vein look. It's typically porcelain or quartz with a marble pattern. Clients really don't know or care to know all of those details, but as a designer, if they tell you I want a marble countertop or I want a marble shower, I would go to a level 4 quartz. Stone is sold in levels 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 4 and 5 are the most expensive. So if you look at a level 4 and a level 5 quartz, you're going to find a marble looking series from that vendor. And then you would present those to your clients and they can choose a specific one. Arabescato, that's a quartz that's used a lot in higher end designs. Calcutta Gold, another one. And then this one is called Yukon, and that's a level 4. It comes in all different colors and patterns and everything, but when clients say they want marble, they mean that they want these veins. The Fundamentals 101 class, let me pull that up really quick. This is the Fundamentals 101 class, or it's also called Industry Fundamentals, Fundamentals of Interior Design. This class, if you have not taken this class yet, I would recommend that you get registered for it. This class goes over an interior design project from flooring, cabinets, lighting, plumbing, fixtures. I think it would be beneficial to look at these lectures while you're working on your residential projects and while you're sourcing. So if you're looking for flooring for your residential project, you can go into week 1, flooring. And then there will be a lecture. There's flooring cost, residential flooring, commercial flooring, tile and stone, hardwood, carpet, LVP. And you don't need to like take all the quiz yet if you're not in this class yet, but if you can go through here and read these lectures while you're working on your project, it might help you decide on what materials to use and why. Here I have a link for everyone to a blog on my website about those styles that we talked about, so you can review and read them while you're doing your own concept. We already talked about industrial and Santa Fe. There's a few others on here. The one that I'm going to talk about and highlight is eclectic. Eclectic design means that you are using two or more different styles and making it one. So if you're using, stainless and concrete and metal, that's part of industrial design. And then you're mixing it with the wood and the natural stone of Santa Fe design. That's eclectic. You're blending different styles together. So you don't have to pick just one style. You can take different things that you like from each style and put them together to make an eclectic design. Okay, selecting your fixtures, furnishings, and equipment. Also finishes. I think we've gone over this a few times, but just a reminder. Fixtures are items that cannot be moved, but were not originally in the home. An example of a fixture would be if you put a built-in bench and booth seating in your kitchen. They can't move that. It would take effort. They'd have to demolish it, but it wasn't there in the first place. If you put a bookshelf underneath their staircase, they can't move it out and take it without doing demo. That's a fixture. Equipment can be moved, but it would take effort. That would be like the refrigerator. There's probably a water line connected to it. If it has a hard wire, like it's electrical, or like if you had to move the stove and the oven to clean behind it, that takes a little more effort. That's equipment. It can be moved, but it's typically not moved. Furnishings, furniture, we know what that is. Finishes and materials. Finishes would be wall coverings, curtains, upholstery, things like that. And the materials, same thing, but it would include, tile, sundries, shower niche, like all of those kind of behind the scenes things. That would be in materials. Finishes can be seen by the client after the design. Materials are usually underneath, underlayments, kind of in the background. You don't typically see those. Create a folder with your finishes and materials that you would potentially use in your project. Save them with the vendor name, product name, and color. It's okay if you have a few different wall tiles and flooring materials and you don't know where you want to use what. That's okay. Save it all in a folder and then include your favorite ones on your portfolio page. Since we're working on Photoshop, you can go ahead and put those on your page now. And then when you get into SketchUp class in a few weeks, you're going to be able to apply those finishes and materials throughout your model to decide where you're going to place them exactly in your design. Concept creation for your residential project. Work on your concept statements, bubble diagrams, block plans. Think about, what are you basing your design on? Is it the occupant? Is it the original structure of the building? Like for our commercial project at 66 South Logan, we had structural elements like those windows and those lights and stuff that we couldn't get rid of. That exposed wood beam ceiling is on there. So we kind of based our design around the original structure. It could be the location, if it's like a vacation home or a destination. It could be the desired overall aesthetic. It could be durability and cleanability. If it's a hotel, multiple people are going to be staying there every day. You got to think about the durability and the cleanability. Safety, if you're doing government work. Government work is the highest paid career right now in interior design. It's hard though. It's a very long application process and interview process. But if you are someone that can study and research and plan for that type of an interview process and really put in the work, they pay a lot of money in government interior design right now. Safety would be a concern for that. So that would be like courthouses, the DMV, the post office, jails, all of those are part of government design. So typically they don't care so much about the end design. They really don't care how it looks. They care about safety of the guests, they care about the safety of the employees, they care about the durability of the products because they don't always have a lot of money afterwards. It's not always easy for them to get things fixed. And also cleanability. These are huge commercial buildings that would have a commercial cleaning company. You've got to find products that are warranted for 20 years for that type of use. Also work on your research and programming for your residential projects. So that's where you get on JSTOR and Google Scholar. I think I've shown everybody how to do that. If you still are unsure on how to use those, please send me an email and I will get a tutorial over to you. You're going to search terms that relate to your residential project. So it depends on what your project is. Aging in place would be like if the person you're designing for is older and retired and they know this is a home that I want to live in forever, I'm never moving again. You would do aging in place design, which is where you take preventative measures to ensure that when they are older and maybe can't get around as easily, they don't have a problem in the house that they're in. Multifamily, that would be like any type of apartment buildings, any type of student living, dorms, shared space, any type of that. Mixed occupancy, that is where there's two. So an example would be like a bar downstairs, and that's commercial. And then there's an apartment upstairs that the owner lives in. It's owned by the same person, used by the same person. It's sold together as one building, but it's two different levels or two different areas. It might be like a duplex, and one is commercial zoning and commercial codes, and one is residential. So that's either called mixed occupancy or multi-use. An example that I always show on Google Scholar to help you with your search. So when you go to Google Scholar, make sure it's scholar.google.com. It looks like regular Google, but it's not. You're searching articles that have been scientifically proven. So you have the facts. So that's what makes a designer an interior designer, is that you're basing it off facts, not your opinions. You're not just selecting materials because you like it or you think it's pretty. You're selecting it because it's been proven to be the best design for who you're designing it for. So an example would be like the solarium in Fort Collins. If I was designing that, so this is an example of the inside of the solarium. So this is called biophilic design. That is where you bring nature into the interior. So this is the inside, but it has trees literally going through the building and vines hanging from the ceiling. So that's called biophilic design, and then you can search that. I pretty much go from 2019 because in interior design things change. What was, relevant in 1994 no longer applies to design today, especially post-COVID. So I try to go 2019, but you could go even later than that if you want to. And then you would go through here and find articles that relate to what you're doing. And you'll copy some of these notes. I usually read the introduction and the conclusion, and then it'll have keywords. So then you have other terms to search and to use in your project and your concept statement. And then if you find something that you really like let's say I liked one crucial question is how to conceptualize nature. You copy and paste the entire statement with the citation. So it has the author's name. So you're not plagiarizing anything. And you can put this into your portfolio as a note, and that will show your research. So it'll show that you studied it and that you had a process behind your design. That is everything for this lecture. We don't have class Monday or Wednesday next week for spring break. And then the next class we have the following Monday is going to be a studio class where I'm going to look at your residential concept research and programming. So that is what you can work on in the meantime. And that's everything.